It's time for Ascension River District Hospital's coverage of East China High School sports.
Welcome to CTV 6 preseason show. I'm Craig Zimmerman. Jessie LeBoon next to me here. We got Ryan Wiley on camera. You don't see him, but he does a wonderful job. We're here on the 18th of August, Jesse. We saw a pretty good scrimmage today against Lakeview.
JV and the varsity.
And boy, the weather's been outstanding for this so far. So, cross our fingers, hope that continues into the season.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky last year. I don't think we had too many crummy games.
Yeah. Mariners ended last season on a high note, really, ending the season at Ford Field. Didn't come out victorious, but I don't know what they could have done possibly to beat Grand Rapids Catholic Central and their recruited team. Sure.
And a lot of people would give anything to have their team make that deep of a run in the playoffs. So, just getting to Ford Field is an outstanding achievement.
Yep. We played them tough for 3 quarters, and we're in the game. And if you take 1 or 2 little bounces out of it, or 2 or 3 of their Division I players out of it.
Yeah, when I looked at the final score today, 31-7, and I just remember thinking to myself, this score does not indicate, the game. It was a very close game up until the 4th quarter.
Yep. So we'll come into this season. Obviously, like every year, you've got a handful of seniors that graduated, and you got to fill those holes. But as Mariner fans typically are, they're optimistic because it's sort of a machine in the sense that you just lock and reload. Got a lot of good underclassmen and a lot of continuity coming back. Let's talk about last season a little bit in our road to Ford Field, Jesse, with how we started out.
Yes, games and scores. So we opened up at home, was against St. Clair. We beat them 43-12. We played South Lake 47-6, Marysville 48-8, Warren Fitzgerald 41-12, Clintondale 55-12, Hazel Park 56-12, Madison 49-7, Lincoln 63-0, Notre Dame Prep 21-10. And then the first round of the playoffs, we played South Lake 49-12. We won. We went on to beat Dundee 49-6, Corona 21-14, and then semifinals 27-7. We were victorious against Portland, and ended up losing the state championship at Ford Field against Catholic Central 31-7.
The thing that I noticed out of those games is that with a lot of big scores for the Mariner offense, the second team gets a lot of reps all the way through the season. So as much as you might have, say, a kid coming in and he's a junior this year, with as many downs as they may have played, they're better than the average junior.
Yeah, he got a lot of repetitions, a lot of live, and practice is one thing, but once you get in a game, those are live reps, and it pays dividends.
Yep. So coming into this year, the schedule looks similar, but just a little bit of difference.
Yep. So we'll open up at home against Armada, basically a week from tomorrow. Then we'll travel away to Clawson, home against St. Clair again. Then we'll play South Lake away, Marysville at home, Lamphere away, Clintondale at home, Centerline away, and then we'll finish up with a little bit of a road trip up to Durand away.
You always like to play your rivals at home, so that's a good schedule.
That is a good schedule.
St. Clair and Marysville at home. We've talked in the past about the size of Marine City High School. What are we, about 520?
512 this year.
Okay, 512.
Right in the same.
And with most of our, not that you dwell on it, but it's a scenario that most of the teams will be 200-300 players or students bigger schools.
Yep. Couple smaller, which surprises me, like Clintondale. You would think of them as a bigger school, but they're only listed at 392 this year.
Yep. And
the other one that's going to be a little bit lower is Clawson, 397.
Yep. The Mariners, I looked at some stats since 1999. There are 230 wins and 39 losses. That's pretty incredible.
It is.
That's an .855 winning percentage. So the one thing I always like to make a note of is that for any naysayers or people that are yelling in the stands at, say, Coach Letson or somebody calling a play, when you win 855% out of 1,000, you deserve to have nobody questioning what you're running, correct?
Absolutely. But, that's what brings the atmosphere, right? No, you're never going to please everybody.
Regular season since 99, 183-20. So if you look at that, we average less than a loss a year. Pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
we've got some nucleus coming back from last year's team. Obviously, just because it's the position that everybody looks at, the quarterback's coming back.
Yep.
3-year starting quarterback Jeffrey Heslop, and it's likely that Jeffrey will play some defense.
Yeah, it's looking like it. What we expected to see a little bit today during the scrimmage, but
Yep.
they've been working with some other kids and trying to feel out the team, and the coaching staff's always done a real good job of adapting their play scheme to their players and not vice versa. So you've got some really good kids, some really good athletes last year that graduated, and instead of trying to go with the same scheme, they're smart enough to know we're going to have to play to our strengths and defend our weaknesses.
Yep. If you look at the starters, that are still there this year that were there last year, you've got quarterback, as I mentioned. You've got is Ruffino coming back or no?
Yeah.
Ruffino. You've got the list here. You want to run down it a little bit? Running back. We've got Zach Tetler, one of the leading rushers from last year back.
Looking for big things from him.
Yep.
Just kind of going by the huddle roster here. You got Parker Atkinson that got quite a few reps last year.
Yep. He's now a junior.
A junior. Yep.
You got Paul Muscat coming off JV, played a little bit in the playoffs, number 2.
Yeah.
He'll be there.
Paul showed some nice things today in the scrimmage.
Yep.
And I know it's not a game situation, but it's just nice to see the kids out there in the pads and getting some live reps.
One thing you'll notice about skipping around, but Jeff Heslop probably, without getting scientific on it, he's probably gained 20 pounds and put a lot of muscle on.
Yeah, I know him. I know they put a lot of work in the off season, just like all the other players. That some have been in that weight room, and you can definitely tell. Just standing next to him, you can definitely tell he's a much bigger kid.
Yeah, I could see, last year to this year, he may be running more people over. Putting his head down and going.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you use that?
Exactly.
Use physics to your advantage.
We've got a backup quarterback.
Yep, Lincoln Osterlund.
That is somewhat of an oddity. He's a freshman, but he comes from that Osterlund breed line, right?
Sure.
His brother's on the team. If you see Lincoln line up at quarterback, you wouldn't think by the size of him and his poise that he's a freshman.
No, not at all. He looked very crisp today.
Yep. What else we got on offense there? We got Atkinson. We got. We didn't really go over starting lineups per se, so we don't know who's starting.
Right.
Cole Smallstig. We mentioned Tetler. Brock Osterlund probably be a two-way player, offense and defense. You recognize name Cole O'Croy playing on the line. You recognize Griffin Schulte.
Yep.
Connor Mason for sure.
Yep.
Connor looks like a new man out there.
He does. You can definitely tell he's definitely put in a lot of work in the off season, in the weight room, and with Coach Lilito in the offensive line. The footwork and things like that. So I think he's going to be one of the staples, one of the anchors there.
Yep. Will Steyer, Alex Tigert. Some of these kids played a lot of plays last year. Dan Van Bosch. Got a couple new kids. Ian Grebe, number 80, tight end. Cullen Gabler, he's only a sophomore, but he's come along. He's going to play some defense.
Yep. Jeremy Westrick, another name that comes to mind.
Yep.
Jeremy and Bill,
Kyle Rickert. Did you mention Billy Westrick?
I just did.
I thought you did, yeah. Yep. So all in all, coming off the scrimmage today, if you had talked to Coach Friend after, say, the first quarter, probably wasn't too happy, made some adjustments and settled down and played some good defense.
Yeah, and again, you're in a scrimmage situation, so I think they went 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off.
Yep.
So 20 minutes for the defense, 20 minutes for the offense, to try to get some reps in and just some consistency in there and maybe give the kids a little workout physically and mentally, to kind of prepare them for the game situations.
Yeah, talked to Coach Letzen and Coach Frent after the scrimmage. And I think the biggest thing out of a scrimmage for a school of 512 kids is it came out of it with no injuries.
yeah, that's something you risk. I mean, you want to get the kids out there against, you know, some different people rather than just your teammates, but you always risk that injury thing too. So
Yep.
to come out of there and get some live reps and be ready, you know, mentally and kind of see your physicality for next week, I think is huge.
So they've got basically a little bit over, they got a week to prepare for a, you know, it's not a rival, but it's a close school, Armada. They're in the BWAC. They play good competition. I think they've got a second or third year coach that's turned up and done good things there.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, orange and black against orange and black, small town versus small town.
Yeah, absolutely. You know they're going to come with some big heart. I think they made it to the playoffs last year.
Yep.
Had a playoff run. So
I would think that they'll travel well and we'll pack the stadium in the first game of the year, which is always good.
yeah, it'll be very nice.
So if you didn't know, the first game of the year will be on Friday night. What's the date next Friday?
It'll be the 26th. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
26th, and it'll
26th.
be another opener. So the JV will start at 4 o'clock, and then immediately following 7 o'clock for the varsity. So
Yep.
it'll be. I think that stadium's going to be pretty packed.
Yeah, good to see. The BWAC is basically with I think 3 teams crossing over with the MAC. St. Clair's playing Richmond, is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Their opener.
And then I think Marysville's playing. I think it's oh shoot, North of Romeo.
Not sure.
Anyway,
I
another
look
BWAC team. Then we've got, like you had mentioned, you got Clawson down at Clawson's City Park, and they come back against the Saints. And you always say you throw the records out in the sense that everybody's excited about that game.
Oh, it's an area captivating. It's just like Marine City, Marysville. You know, you're only one town away, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, all those programs are well followed by the community, and yeah, you get all those people in one stadium and watch these two go toe to toe, and that's why they call Friday Night Lights.
Yep. Whoever's responsible, is there a lot of fireworks ready to go? Or?
I don't know. I have to check on that. I hear there's some ready to go.
Okay.
I think it's covered either way.
Okay. Then who we got after St. Clair?
Yeah, so actually that St. Clair game starts the run of our 5-game silver right in a row. We play all of our conference rivals right in a row. So
St. Clair is in our league this year.
silver, yep. And then we go away to South Lake, and then we'll come home to Marysville, away at Lamphere, and then home against Clintondale to finish out that silver conference.
Well, back to the Marysville thing. I mean, there again, it's another one that it doesn't matter what the records are.
No.
Marine City's getting up for Marysville.
Oh, they always do.
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about the records before on the television show at the games, but you know, just no matter what happens, you're always up for that game.
Right. You know, I would say I wouldn't use the word optimistically. I would say matter of factly, we look for the Mariners to have another banner year. No letting up. We're not making predictions of any sorts, but we look at it as jobs in front of the team, game 1, game 2, and so on. Get geared up for the playoffs, and then because we've been so lucky to see so many winning seasons and good long runs in the playoffs, I would say that you don't really look and make predictions early, but you just try to let the pieces fall into place and let the, I guess, momentum build around week 6, 7, 8, 9, because it's almost like I always say, it's like a recipe. You got to get better every week. You got to stay healthy.
For sure.
You got to keep your kids, if a kid, whether he's your superstar, wherever he might be, is struggling with a, let's say, strained muscle in week 5, what's going to happen? He's going to sit for a couple weeks.
Sure.
Because week 6, 7 don't mean a whole lot, but week 9, 10, 11, sort of what they're gearing towards.
And what we talked about last year too is those scores, those 49-7s, the 56-6. We had talked multiple times, we want to. It's good that they're going out there and taking care of business, but at some point you almost want to be challenged. We kept talking week 8, 9, I hope we're ready for playoffs, which we always are, but it's like you just worry about that competition level throughout the year. is it going to amp you up? Is it going to drive you to be
Right.
ready for playoffs?
Right.
And they did a spectacular job last year.
You know, you look at the coaching, team. It's unbelievable how focused they are on their own, particular. I saw Tim Lolito out there today talking to the linemen, and that's his thing, just linemen only on the defensive line, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell the way he's talking to them. He's speaking the language, and they're picking it up on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all so good in their own respective areas, but yet they all work together so well as a team.
Yep. You got Darren Letson. I think this is the start of his third year.
Third year, yep.
Dave Frentz been there a number of years, and he's holding down the defense. Andy Shields and Bill Nesbitt, Tim Lolito, Jim Heslop, and obviously you got Tony Scarcelli, who is back full time with the defense. So
Andy Shield.
Yep. I've talked about it before, but the other thing is you got Joe Forgetto on the JV side, consistently teaching the same
we
thing.
We discussed that on our podcast, the Idiot Circle. If you guys haven't watched that, go watch that on YouTube. So we discussed that at length. That's a tough spot being a JV because all your good players get pulled up.
Right.
But yeah, Joe does a great job of keeping that JV squad competitive, motivated, and just develops the next year players.
Yep. Sometimes you'll see some of these Mariners out there as 10th graders, and you shake your head a little bit and you go, oof,
Yeah.
And you see them blossom into kids that are just tremendous players at their position.
They're disciplined. They know their job. They've been coached well and taught well. And
the one thing I look at is the line play. It's such a forgotten thing in the sense of they don't get the glory. The guy that's the running back, the guy that's the quarterback, the wide receiver, he gets his. But deep down, the team knows, all their players know, and the coaches know.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good line, you're not going far.
Yeah. If you don't have a good line, there's going to be a lot of yelling at film.
Yeah. Yep.
Come Monday morning.
Another thing we've talked about is one of these days, I think we got to do some sort of show on Huddle. If you're a parent and you've seen your kids use Huddle, you might get it. But if you've never seen Huddle, you'll hear it and you'll say, what is that? Why don't you explain it?
Boy, Huddle is like the old days of giving each kid a VCR tape and saying, watch these plays as leaps and bounds ahead of that. So these kids can go on there and whatever scouting video the coaches have uploaded or make notes on there, these kids can just watch it right from their iPhones or iPads or whatever, their computer, and they can slow it down, go fast forward, slow motion, whatever they want. It really, really is a key resource and I've even picked up some tells on some of the teams, you can pick up, but it just gives you the availability to watch the film wherever you're at, so there's no excuse for not being scout ready.
Well, and the thing that I brought up several times in discussions we've had is, I'll use the proverbial, your running back goes for a 75-yard touchdown run, and everybody's jumping up and down, everybody's excited. The next day, Coach Letson's picking apart film, and he finds out maybe, and I'm just picking this out, left guard and the left tackle didn't do their job, and he's going to show them that and how important it is, because if they come the other way, it's no touchdown.
And
so
there's a Madden pen on there too, and people get circled and all kinds of colorful
superimposed
comments. Yeah, it's very neat.
Yeah, I think when you look at the digital age of what's going on, I think the kids learn so much more that way. It's this digital way of, like you said, you can watch it on your phone and it'll show what coached is. What it is too is on plays, they'll say 56, Freddie, watch your feet work here.
Yeah.
Or you block too much to the inside, you're supposed to block outside.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of technical stuff I don't know, but I've seen this film and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Anything else to discuss here?
Well, I don't think so. I think that scrimmage we saw today kind of got everybody's blood pumping, and this cooler weather like this, I think we're all looking forward to fall and football on Fridays.
Yep. So if you're marking on your calendar, next Friday night, Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, East China Stadium, Mariner Field. Stop by, get a popcorn, watch a JV, have a little break in between the games. There'll be a little Mariner music playing.
Yeah, there certainly will be. Hopefully we hear that cannon firing often.
Yep. Got the boat is all ready.
Boat is all ready.
Yep. And by 7 o'clock, we're ready to kick off for the varsity. Thank you to Paul Dingaman for assembling all of our camera work here. Thank you to Ryan Wiley behind the camera. Thanks to Jessie. I'm Craig. We'll see you next Friday.
East China High School Sports has been brought to you by CTV.